again, once again, thank you for having me on your show. Like I say to people, we all have 24 hours a day given to us by God, and nobody's cheated. The rich, the poor, the jobless, those with a million job, whatever you are living on planet Earth, you have 24 hours. And what you do with your time is what matters. There are people today who run multi-billion dollar companies all over the world. They have time for them. So it's all about priorities. That's why I don't have time for games. I don't have time to play, sleep less, few hours daily. I devote my time to things that are very important to me. And I'm very good in business. I love dealing with people. And also, I'm called into the ministry. So I have time to do both and even add more as far as politics is concerned. So it's a very interesting thing. And I like to dedicate and give my time now that I have the strength and the energy to do so.
Okay. Now, are you fully, because I just said you're a GO of your own church, which is in New York, in the United States of America, but here you are fully involved, integrated in national affairs. I mean, are you here now or are you there? Or are you going to be here and there?
Yes, for now, I'm in both places, shuffling. I've been in Nigeria since, and just got back few days, and I'll be back to Nigeria by the weekend. But I hope that after the election, when Shiwaju becomes president, I'll be back in Nigeria fully.
Oh, okay. So, but right now, we're speaking to you from your base in the U.S., which is New York. Again, once again, welcome. It's good to know that we're meeting some of the APC people that we don't always see. Now, tell me about the youth in Nigeria, because one of the more important things that I imagine you'll be concerning yourself with is mobilizing youth for the 2023 elections. How much mobilization do you think how much mobilizing do you think is required? In effect, I'm asking about what you think is the state of affairs now. Do we have a situation where the youths are raring to go, or are they going to have to be persuaded to integrate themselves in the process and own it? What's your thought on that?
Yeah, if you look at this election carefully, you will notice that the youth are very much woken up. The youth are ready to go in this election. And one thing I would say that people seems not to know is that the youth in APC, they seems to be quiet because they are ready to go on that day to vote on the ballot. It's not just about social media. It's not just about being online. It's good being on social media, you're able to pass out information. But our youth are ready. When you hear them speak, when you go on our WhatsApp groups, the leaders, you know the youth are ready to go and vote. And if I may use this opportunity to reach out to every youth out there all over the country, from the south to the north, this is the time for us to vote for the right person. The youth need to wake up. Our eyes need to be open. We cannot run after people or somebody who, number one, is going to sell our country, the only assets we have. We cannot rally around somebody that is willing to sell what we have left. That's number one. Number two, we must follow somebody that has the track record. This is very important to me because election like this, we all know leaders come out, politicians, they make all sorts of promises. Now that the youth are up, they want to vote, they're going to go out there and tell the youth, I'm going to make you this, I'm going to give you this. And at the end of the day, we don't see that happen. All the past administration, many of them did not carry the youth along. You don't see no youth in their cabinet. But we have a leader in the person of Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has the track record. That's why I believe in. It's not just because I'm a member of the APC. It's not just because he said it. It's because when he was governor, he had a lot of youth around him, young people around him. Even after leaving office is the same person who has been empowering people. That's why we must trust him. The youth need a space in national politics, not just during election, even after election. We must follow a man we know that has the track record, a man of vision, a man we know who can turn the economy around. That's the person we must follow. So this election is very critical. We don't want you to just vote with their emotions. You see, you don't play politics with just emotions. You don't play politics with false information. We must follow the right person. So I'm speaking to all the youth out there. It's time for you to go look at the track record. Don't just follow what some media parading all over the place. Look at the track record of our candidate. Ashiwaju is the only person you can sit down, you'll be counting from local to state to national, people from federal, name it. You'll be counting numbers of people who he has empowered, even after leaving office. That's why you see today a lot of people are running around it. People are saying we will go at all lengths to make sure we vote for him. That's what me I'm looking at, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm championing the cause of the youth. I'm looking at youth being in governance, and this is the only person on the ballot that I can trust that will make that happen. So youth, it's time for us to wake up. Don't be deceived. Don't let people carry you along with false information and you begin to believe them. Let's elect Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the next president. Okay. I think the youth will be glad they did.
Indeed. And actually, you've answered part of my next question, because I was going to ask you, when you're speaking with the youths, engaging with them, for those that have the disposition of what's in it for me, what's in it for the youth, you've already answered part of that question, that the presidential candidate of APC has a reputation already for, being quite youthful minded in his thinking, and he's always worked with youth, even women, that kind of a thing. But that issue, would you like to speak a bit on it for those who are probably on the fence? What's in it for the youth? And there's a difference, I would imagine, between the youth in urban areas who are all tech savvy and internet compliant and all of that, and perhaps the many, many more youths that are not, who are in the hinterlands. How are you going to get those ones also on board to understand the importance of this project?
Yeah, first of all, if I may answer your last question, you see, APC is rooted, even down to my village, down to my ward. Some places you think they don't even have internet, they don't even have light. You see APC office there. So we are rooted, we are grounded. When you talk about grassroots politics, it's APC. And our youth wing, we are doing a lot of job. The youth leader, the Presidential Campaign Council youth, we are doing a lot of job reaching out to them, not just on social media. But if I may revisit the person of Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you see, the important, a youth out there may say, yes, Ashiwaju has promised that he's going to give 3 cabinet positions to those under 40, 6 others to those under 50. I'm not going to be among them. I'm not part of it, so it will never benefit me. That's where you're making a mistake. Yes, it's going to benefit you. Imagine we have such number of youth in governance on the table when issues, policies are being made, when negotiations are going on, they begin to speak on your behalf. They begin to, bring policies, things that affect the youth. For example, Ashiwaju has promised that is going to create a system where students, which they are youth, will be able to get student loan. Can you imagine, as a student, when your parents cannot afford it, you are able to get loan to go to school? Your problem is already half solved. Can you imagine you want to begin a business as a young person and you're able to go to the bank because of credit, you're able to get loan to begin business? Your problem is already half solved. So we need youth on the table, not just youth that are youthful minded, that are going to represent the interests of the youth. When discussions are being made, when allocations are given out, when things are being done, we need youth to begin to speak up. So don't say, it's not going to affect me directly, so I really don't care. Yes, it's going to affect you directly. A few years ago, when the Not Too Young to Run bill was signed, I think it was in 2018 by the president, who were the people that championed the cause? It was young people. They pushed for it. They fought for it. They did everything, went on media, had several meetings. They pushed to the extent the president had to sign it. That was why somebody like me, in 2018, when I was just 37 years old, I had the opportunity to run for president. So we need youth in governance. We need youth. If you look at it very well, we only hear about the youth of Nigeria only during election. After election, the only time you hear about youth is youth unemployment. Youth unemployment. Nothing else you hear about us. So our voice needs to be heard on the table. From Monday to Sunday, when things are going on in the nation, you'll be hearing about youth. That is the importance of having youth in governance. And Ashiwaju is the only man that we trust that can make this happen. Why? Not because he's saying it, not because he has said it in his manifesto, because he has the track record. And I do know he's going to keep to his word. That is why we must follow suit and following him. There are other benefits if you want to talk about what this man can do. But for the sake of the youth, we need youth in governance. That's why somebody like me, who is based in America, who has established here, is willing to leave everything behind to come back to Nigeria. Why? Because I know Asiwaju is going to give us a space as youth. Our voice will be heard. We need policies that will directly affect the youth in the village, affect those in the city, affect those who may not have, who are not in school, but they have small businesses. We need policies all around. I'll be able to give youth a little bit of pushing so that we'll be able to thrive in the society and not just thinking of running abroad. Because right now, I can promise you, 8 out of 9, 10 youth, out of 10 you speak to, they want to leave the country. Why? There's nothing for them. No student, no many can't go to school, no job. So we need a whole lot of policies. We need things to be done that will affect the youth. After the election, we want to be hearing things about the youth, not just during election. There's only one man we know that will make this happen. That's Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That's why youth, we have to, this is not the time to be fighting, insulting people. We have to calm down and be able to vote with our senses, not just with our emotions. Because people pass out so much information and you begin to force information and you begin to run with them. We must be wise in this 2023 election.
Indeed. About 8 years ago, just before the Buhari administration came on board, just prior to that, of course, there was the whole mantra of change. In fact, the presentation was based on, we need a change. And change would, I imagine, include the outlook, of the people in government, the people who are coming to take over, because it was felt at that time that we did need to refresh our vision. Well, I don't know. It's up. The jury is still out on whether indeed we saw that change. Well, now we're dealing with renewed hope as a theme of this particular election, from change to renewed hope. Now, we don't usually see the youths in our national affairs. I'm not saying that there are no youths. Of course there are. In fact, the youths are making us proud in various aspects of life, mostly culture, also business. Also business. We hear these astounding stories from abroad of Nigerian people being Nigerian and, selling off their tech assets, whatever they are. So there's sports and all of that. But in terms of running the affairs of the country, it's a Nigerian thing, isn't it, that there are not as many youths involved as could have been. So here we now have this chance again. It was change. Perhaps people didn't see too much change. It is now renewed hope. Are you ready to stick your neck out in speaking and mobilizing for these youths that this time, the second time is a charm? Because what people are saying, where people have lost a bit of hope, say nothing will change. This place is the way it is. I'm sure you would have heard all of that, which I'm sure you'll also be riling against. Say, look, don't look at it like that. But you got to overcome that particular hump, haven't you, of the apathy, perhaps, of youths.
Yes. Yesterday, I was speaking with my friend over the phone. I said to him, if there's one thing I do believe, that I do know, that when Asiwaju become president, you're definitely going to see change. I used the word to him. I said, I do know the bleeding will stop. And I said, I will be so surprised. It will be one of the greatest surprises of my life that he becomes president and nothing changed. Why? Because of the track record. If you look at Lagos, what Lagos has become, if you look at, there's a documentary that has been played several times. You look at, the man is a visionary. When I hear him talk about student loan, credit, the things that we are used to in America, when I hear him say these things, and I'm saying to myself, wow, this man knows exactly what it is to run an economy, to bring life back. So when you hear the word renewed hope, it's because when you speak to the average Nigerian on the street, they have lost hope. The average youth want to leave the country. Everyone that have the opportunity, they want to leave. Every day you see doctors, lawyers come to America, come to Europe, London, Everybody, they are relocating. So when you hear the word renewed hope, it's telling you hope is coming. You know, we're going to renew this hope. You may have given up on Nigeria, but hope is coming, whereby a lot of Nigerians, even in the diaspora, will be willing to come back. They will not be running away from their home anymore. That's what that phrase means. It means let's renew the hope. Let's not give up on Nigeria. Nigeria is gifted. I'm glad you mentioned it. Among the youth in sport, we are excelling. Even in entertainment, we are making progress in the entire Africa. You come to Grammy Awards and so much of the awards taking place here in America, you hear Nigerians being mentioned among all the countries in the continent of Africa. But in the area of politics, when it comes to national affairs, yes, youth, there are youth who are councillors at the local level. I'm sure there are some who are, House of Assembly members, but even at the state level, we have the youngest governor, I think is Governor Yahya Bello. How many of them do we have there? But even at the national level, I can tell you, is completely zero. Our voices are not being heard. So that is why, for me,
exactly.
It's very important.
Apart from Governor Sanwo-Olu of Lagos, I don't know, arguably, maybe we can squeeze him in there as a youth as well, Sanwo-Olu of Lagos.
Yes, of course. Looking at when he was elected, I think he was 52 or 54 thereabouts. Yes. Lagos, a large economy, for him to even be trusted with such a responsibility. Exactly. Lagos is very complex. It's like a whole nation by itself. It's not like some states you go to, you see just the indigenes of those that state predominantly there. But Lagos is, you have everybody, Yorubas, the Igbos, the Hausa. If you want to even do census, you can't even say Lagos is 50% Yoruba people. I'm sure you see the Igbos are there in large numbers. They are there, the Hausas are there in large numbers. So Lagos is like another New York, where you have people from all over in one place. So a complex state, elected a young person there. I'm sure the next governor after him may even be younger than that. So we need somebody who don't separate the younger generation and the older generation. Apparently, some of these older generations, it's like they hate the youth. Permit me to use that word. They don't want to bring us around. You have so much cabinet position, you can't even encourage youth to go there, help them in any way possible to be able to be elected. But now we are saying we need to be appointed at some level, also elected. People that will champion the cause of youth. Don't put people there who don't really know what it means to be a youth. They've long forgotten what it means to be a youth, and you expect them to champion the cause of youth. And the key thing here is, who is this person that we can trust? Because after elected, the whole game changed. I was speaking to some former young aspirants, and one of them said to me, "Are you sure this is the right man for this job?" Because apparently, as soon as they're elected, they'll forget about the youth. I said, no.
Not in this
Don't just believe me. Go and look at his track record.
Okay. I beg your pardon. Dr. Felix, I beg your pardon, Dr. Felix. Yes. Thank you. Let me bring in a viewer has called in. Good morning, Mr. George, calling in from Ikeja.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to
Dr. Nicholas Felix.
Yes. Uncle Yori, I have a lot of admiration for this young man because of the decision he took. He wanted to become president. He saw it that it was not just possible at this point in time, and decided to pitch tent with one he knows can lead there. That tells me that he is truly interested in serving our country. So I congratulate him for that, and I assure him that he will get there one day. But I have a question for him. Yes, I have a question for him.
Sure.
On their campaign strategy. This year, the APC as a party, they adopted some new approaches to campaigning. They set up women's wing, youth wing. The women, you see them organizing town hall meetings, doing house-to-house campaigns. The general one is going on at state levels. But the youth wing, I am not seeing much of them in terms of being visible. If you look at the social media, for example, a particular set of people have capitalized on the gullibility of some youth to put in a lot of force into it, which many of these youths are buying. I expected the youth wing of your party, sir, to counter this information and be doing one-on-one meetings with them. I expect you to go to campuses, liaise with student unions, and hold one-on-one meetings with them in large groups from sector to sector and from zone to zone. Is it because of money or time? It's just a suggestion, but I think you are on the right course. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. George. Dr. Felix, you heard
that? Yes. George, thank you very much, and I say amen to your prayers, and I appreciate that. But let me just quickly address the issue of campaign. You see, the youth in APC, a lot has been going on at the local level. We may not have done much at the national in terms of holding national campaign like the PCC did. But when you talk about the local, a lot has been going on. For example, even in my ward, in my village, we're having a youth concert that is just centered on the youth, bringing musicians coming in, and it's sponsored by the youth, where we are just going to campaign for Asiwaju and campaign for all the candidates at that level. So there are a lot of little campaign going on that sometimes we don't air on TV. We've heard so much of them that you may not have seen on national media. But one thing I do want people to understand, and I'm just going to say this just like it is. You see, we should not be deceived that the youth in APC are quiet. At the beginning of this youth thing, on social media now, there's a group of people, once you say a word, they come after you like crazy. I was on Arise TV. I was amazed at the negative comment that you get. And because of that, a lot of youth have decided to stay quiet. But not people like me. If I believe in something, I go out there. I could be the only one standing. I really don't care. If I'm convinced, I'm going all the way there. As far as I know this is the truth, as far as I know my conscience is clear, this is the right man for the job, I go all the way in. For example, people think we were paid by Asiwaju. Asiwaju gave us money. That's why we are doing this. Somebody said he has been giving lots of dollars. You will be amazed that not a penny has been given to us. Many youths, we are willing to even give to the campaign because we believe this. This is not about being paid. We are not here campaigning because money has been given to us. We are convinced that this is the right man for the job. So there were a lot of youth out there. When we started this, I remember we had a meeting. I even spoke with Sheyi, the son of a candidate. We sat down in Transcorp. We were discussing what is the best approach. Should we go counter them? If you say one thing negative about Asiwaju, we come after you. We discover we're going to be wasting our energy. We don't want to go into fight. And now you end up seeing fighting. So the youth out there, they are ready. On election day, that's when you're going to know that we're not just here playing.
Let me bring in Mr. Yakub in Dokbemu, who has been waiting to join the program. A fine morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in.
Good morning to Dr. Felix. Yes. I don't have doubts in my mind. Dr. Felix, because I watched the day of primary of APC. I can see the energy in him. He's trying he fights to finish at the last day that he withdraw for someone. And then imagine the kind of the leadership Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is. If Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu can just come down to the extent he recognized Dr. Felix with his age and begin to embrace him. He was never even thinking that Dr. Felix did not withdraw from the race for me. He embraced him and then he talked to him because I listened to Dr. Felix one of the programs one time ago. See, you see, Dr. Felix, some of us, Buhari can testify to this. Mr. George, Reverend Dominic, I can keep him mention some other people that are normally called to this program. Nobody has anybody to give us money. We don't need it. We always need the good governance. And then me and Mr. George, Reverend Dominic and others, we believe in Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He does not even know us. And then we don't even like to know him. We always know him as a good person. Although I personally have met him one-on-one some time ago in 1999 to year 2000 thereabouts. Since that time, I've been a fan of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Meanwhile, what he did that time, there's no time for me to be saying it now. Because it is a good person. If Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu cannot even recognize me today. But what he did at that time, when I met him one-on-one, Dr. Felix, you won't believe it. See, I pray some other youth, their minds should be open, their eyes should be open to see who Ashwad Bola Ahmed Tinubu is. Let me shock you, Dr. Felix. The people that campaign against Ashwad Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a youth, from youth, ask them. This candidate and Ashwad Bola Ahmed Tinubu, let's put the antecedent of both of them. What is their achievement, the track record, the past record? Dr. Felix, none of them can even say what the other candidate has been able to do. By the time I begin to mention 1, 2, 3, they begin to fight me. Say, stop about it, it's a lie. You don't give you money. Not about money. I've mentioned this, give me one that make the other candidate better than him. They have nothing to say. But I pray, this within less than 2-3 weeks now, we are going to the poll. By God's grace, God Almighty Allah will crown our effort. Here in Dokwemu, Tinubu don't know who Yakubu is. And then I still campaign for him because I need good governance. That is what we need.
Okay, Mr. Yakub, thank you very much for calling in. You know, all our callers are usually quite passionate about whatever is the subject. And when it comes to this whole matter about development, you heard all the names he mentioned. The usual suspects, so to speak. I'm sure they might call in later on. But we'll come back. We'll take a break now. And when we come back, I want to look at a point that Mr. George made, who called in first, that, look, the youths, couldn't they organize something as well? Just yesterday, I believe it was, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, the wife of the presidential candidate, I think if it was not yesterday, it was the day before yesterday, there was, you know, a workshop, a training program. The women were seen in full force. So I think that is the kind of thing that Mr. George was saying. Is the youth also doing something so that we can showcase our own youth too and hear the new ideas from them as well? But all of that when we come back. Please stay with us. Mr. Dr. Felix, Dr. Nicholas Felix, businessman, philanthropist, Deputy National Youth Coordinator, APC Presidential Campaign Council. We'll be right back.
TVC News first. With breaking news.
We cover the big political stories in Nigeria, but people want more than just politics.
Business news, sports, naturally, but you need news to live by also.
Stories about education, health, personal finance, and hey, even lifestyle news.
Newspaper reviews, travel news, and much more.
Nigeria, it's more than just politics. It's life.
Start your day with us every weekday.
TVC News Breakfast. First, fast, balanced, and accurate.
TVC News first with breaking news.
In the month of February, 4th of February is World Cancer Day. 6th of February is International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation, while 11th of February is dedicated to women and girls in science. On the 12th of February, it's International Day Against the Use of Child Soldiers, also known as Red Hand Day. On the 20th, it's World Day of Social Justice. By the 24th, it will be 1 year since the Russia-Ukraine war broke out. Stay tuned to TVC News as we bring you in-depth reports and analysis of these events.
Okay, welcome back, and we're speaking with the APC Deputy National Youth Coordinator, Dr. Nicholas Felix, is in New York. His base is in between there and here. And I have on the line Reverend Dominic. A fine morning to you, Reverend Dominic.
Good morning, Chief Yori. How are you?
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Yori, let me just start where my two friends ended, George and Yakub.
Yes.
But Yori, honestly, I have fought a lot of battle about APC. I'm tired. In 2015, we fought for them to win. They won, and we have a battle. George knows, Yakub knows, both are friends in London. The battle we fought in 2016 was the parliament was speaking at them, as you know, and Mr. President was one side, as we think, led by Sariki. We fought together. 2019 said never again. In 2019, we had the parliament and the executive speaking in one voice. But every time I woke up from bed today, I'm a pastor. I'm not a socialist, I'm not a politician. Whenever I wake up in bed, I find it like a nightmare that Ashwaji is in APC government and the PC party. I find it a nightmare. I will not put my thumbprints to this party who have created all kind of nonsense. In my lifetime, I've not seen it. I had 20 calls on Monday. When I talk about the element I want to sabotage Ashwaji, before I came up on board, I had 20 calls. Some talk about killing, some talk about, I said, listen to me, I'm a pastor. Death is such nonsense to me. Somebody who dies will not die tomorrow. Everybody that's sabotaging Ashwaji in this particular race, we pay a terrible price. This is why I will never vote APC. They have caused more pain than anything in this world. And the way this man, Ashwaji, go into power, they will still sabotage him. What is going on? We are on edge, a political party in power, making it difficult for their own candidate. You are seizing the currency. I was in back yesterday to look for 1,000 naira. Me, as Reverend Dominic. If I looking for 1,000 naira, Reverend Dominic, how is the pot for crying in the bank yesterday?
Okay.
I bought yesterday 450 naira. If I could afford it, how many people could afford to buy for 450? And today, somebody went to court. Kogi went to court Zamfara, and got in judgment. The Attorney General came out boldly to say that they are going to go to court against that. What a party is that?
Indeed.
I won't vote APC. Ashwaji may win, but this will frustrate him. May God help them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I respond to Reverend Dominic?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Reverend Dominic, if you can hear me, please let me speak to you. I'm glad.
No, he can hear you.
Like
but we have to leave the line free for other caller. But he can hear you. Please continue.
Good. So please let me just quickly just speak to you. I'm glad you have confidence in Ashwaji. When Ashwaji becomes president, he becomes the leader of the party. Don't forget that. Yes, there are always going to be insiders who are going to be fighting an administration. This is not just only in Nigeria. It's something that I'm glad you read your Bible. Was it not even Absalom, the son of David, who fought David? Did David not conquer? But let me tell you one beautiful thing I love about Ashwaji. You see, I love people who are very bold. One of the things that attracted me to him the more, Ashwaji is a bold man. He's a man that will take bold steps, bold decisions. So don't be afraid. Don't say I'm not voting for him because they will frustrate him. No.
Okay.
When he becomes the president, he becomes the leader.
Indeed.
So I want you to go out there. Let's vote for him because that's the kind of man that will be.
Indeed.
This is all politics.
I was just going to say to you, Dr. Felix, that the Reverend Dominic that called in and all these other people, it's like preaching to the converted, but they're still angry. They're angry. They're loyal to APC. They're not about to quit support for APC, but they are angry that promises made, I reference change, has really been highlighted by its absence, according to many. But that's not the case. They also touched on something that I wanted to also get your perspective as, working with the youth. And that's this whole matter about, the currency change and some governments going to court and getting an injunction. As of last night, according to the newspapers this morning, the federal government has approached the court, the Supreme Court, asking it to dismiss a suit challenging the February 10 deadline set by CBN. They actually haven't got the decision, the judgment. They've now approached the court that, look, you don't even have the jurisdiction. I don't know, but before then, Mr. Mohammed in Abuja, please bear that in mind. You might want to comment on it. Mr. Mohammed in Abuja has been waiting. Thank you very much, sir. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning.
I greet you, I guess. He has spoken very well.
Okay. Dr. Felix.
Yeah, concerning, I don't want to call names, but concerning some people that are blaming APC, that they brought policy that is not intended with people's, they are not sensitive with people's life or whatever. This policy is never, and it can never be APC policy. This policy is strictly a policy of Emefiele and CBN only, and CBN is not APC. CBN is an agency of Nigeria government. CBN is independent, and they issue a policy. They went and convinced the president. They give him wrong advice that the implementation should be done now, for vote buying, and which means that the politicians, whether you are doing for vote buying or whatever, the politicians have their means, they have their way to do whatever they want to do. But for the masses to be suffering because of policy that is not, if I give an example, Saudi Arabia, they implement that policy 7 years ago. They are still collecting all money. England, presently, they are doing it. Still, Queen Elizabeth money is being accepted and being spent in England. Why we now? Why the implementation? Why 3 months only?
Really?
Why can't we be given only 3 months to change our currency? Why that if there is no any motive? So the injunction by Supreme Court stand, nobody will remove that. It stand. The date of 10th February is null and void until the decision of the next decision by the Supreme Court by 15th January 2023. No government, nobody will interfere. Nobody will interfere with that injunction. So we are fully behind it. We need CBN to bring new currency. If they don't have the old one, let them print more.
Okay.
Have our life back.
All right, then. Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Mohammed. And so over to you, Dr. Felix. As I was saying, people would have thought that the Supreme Court ruling yesterday has sort of doused the tension. People are beginning to heave a sigh of relief. But government is not letting go. The federal government, according to reports, has approached the court last night. I don't even know that these people can still be approached in the night, but they're telling you that you heard it in the afternoon or whatever time you heard it. Now the federal government has approached the court and has argued that the Supreme Court lacks jurisdiction. I'm quoting directly from a newspaper front. In fact, it's The Guardian in front of me here. That the Supreme Court lacks jurisdiction to hear the suit which was filed by Kaduna, Kogi, and Zamfara states. So we don't really know where we are. First of all, how does that grab you? What do you feel about this whole currency change exercise going on now, speaking as it were from amongst the youth, and then the Supreme Court coming coming into the matter because it says there was an urgency and there was a need for it to come into it. But now the federal government has gone back to the Supreme Court and said, you didn't even have jurisdiction. Give me your thoughts on this whole matter. It looks like the government is bent on saying that from tomorrow, which is the government's position, you can't spend the existing Naira note. It must be the recolored one that you must be spending. Your thoughts?
Yeah, you see, that's why you hear somebody like Reverend Dominic getting angry that this is being done, understanding the way people are going to see it. But going back to what Mohammed said, this is the point I was making on my last TV appearance, that the CBN is a different agency, it's an entity of its own. It has nothing to do with the party. You know, anytime anything goes wrong, to talk about a party. This decision was not discussed in our, this policy was not discussed in our national office. I'm not sure in the course of discussion, the national chairman of our party was invited to come and join in the decision. I'm sure the news came out just like every other person heard it. So everything is not just about APC. If the rain don't fall, you blame APC. Anything that goes wrong, APC. Apparently, we all know something is going on among people trying to frustrate the party, not just party, making people get angry at the party. That's the idea. Even though it's not just APC members that are suffering. Everybody, Nigerians are suffering with what is going on. But the fact that the government is still approaching, the Attorney General is approaching the Supreme Court, I hope the judge stand their ground. The last time I checked, the Supreme Court is the highest court in the land, and be able to extend this because we have just few days to the election.
Indeed. I beg your pardon, Dr. Felix. Let me, yes. Sorry for interrupting you, because Gwenga in Abuja is also waiting to join the program. A fine morning to you, Gwenga.
Good morning, Mr. Yorin.
Thank you for calling in. Good morning.
Yes, on the issue of the youth supporting Asiwaju, I think the youth need to know that Asiwaju had a great plan for the youth. And it's evident in the way he has been able to garner youth in his government for 8 years, was able to discover youth, empower them, and make them what they are today. I mean, look at Governor Sanwo-Olu, look at the senator from Ekiti State that was a commissioner in his cabinet, and other youth. You see that if you look back again, for for the past 20 years. Look at what they were, the age. They were just like graduates or fresh graduates or so to say. And he brought them up at that time and nurtured them to what they are today. That's the man that can see the future. And he has been repeating it, that look, he will give the youth loans. Because let me tell you today, Nigeria today, our education problem is because we are not paying the right amount. How can a federal university be collecting 20,000 naira per annum as something? I want education to grow. We want people not to have the best education in Nigeria. No. If you put it in the right place and you give loan to the students to support their parents and they pay the right amount, you will see that we can be able to revive our education. Anybody promising to revive education the way it is now, without students getting loan to pay the right amount, I'm telling you, we are chasing shadow. ASUC side will continue to fester. And
all right,
secondly,
then.
people will say that Shiwaju there, they know he has performed in the past, but they bought the whole Lagos. Me, I don't know what he bought in Lagos. I don't know the possession he has in Lagos. And they have not been able to prove it. Yeah, the thing that spread on social media that he bought the whole Lagos in his pocket. I've not seen that before. All the governors that came have been able to do their own. I'm putting their program in line with the lay down foundation they are done with. What I'm saying is that there's not anybody can do in this something. Asiwaju is the man for that place, and that's why all the forces around are against him, and he will survive it. I done it before.
All right,
he said, I never lose any election, and I believe that he will not lose election, no matter what. Whether there's naira, no naira, no petrol. People have tried to vote him, will vote him, because it's not today. We know who he was and who he is, and had the capacity mentally, bodily, physically to govern Nigeria. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you very much for calling in. It was inevitable that it was going to come to this kind of talking about this as well. But, you know, what has been said, Asiwaju, he has this knack. He has this relationship with youthful minds. But he also, I imagine, for instance, he said in the course of this campaign that, look, there are some tough decisions that are going to have to be made. He said that the subsidy thing is going to have to go. He knows it's a bitter pill, but, you know, it's going to have to go. So some things, it is known that he can deliver. But I interrupted you when you were speaking earlier on. Maybe you'd like to continue, please.
Yeah, let me just throw one more thing about Asiwaju when it has to do with the youth.
Sure.
You see, as a young person, if you listen to my speech on that day, I said the only thing they remember us for is SA. You know, a lot of SAs have been reaching out to me that SA is a good position. I'm not against it. But you see, some of our leaders do not respect us as youth. Asiwaju respects you. It doesn't matter if you're rich, you have position, you come to meet Asiwaju, he's sitting down comfortably. He wants to stand up to greet you, to shake your hand. He will not say, you're not a governor, you are not a minister, you're not rich, or you're not a notable person in society. Asiwaju respect us as youth. And that's what we need now. We need, as youth in Nigeria, to be respected, to be valued, and to be listened to. And this is the man we believe is going to make that happen for us. And you know, we must rally around him and be able to elect him. This is our chance, because we need to be prepared for the next elections. We need to be prepared. And this is the opportunity, as youth of Nigeria, we cannot afford to miss.
Okay, let me bring Real One on. Real One is in Mushin. Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, please, I just want to put some advice in, because I came in from United States to come and vote. So I live abroad. I live in the United States, Houston, Texas. So I don't see the Asiwaju Youth Campaign Week to engage with the students, most especially the students in tertiary institutions, because at least if they engage them, it will really help a lot, because I've engaged with many of them, talked to them, because I was a unionist when I was in school, and I still talk to them about Asiwaju, but they are saying a lot of things about them. You know, see, most of these people, they are also on social media, and they all have their privacy to post. But if I can advise Mr. Nicholas, because I followed the primary, I followed everything, I really appreciate him. Because when he stepped down, he didn't step down for Asiwaju. He stepped down for Vice President of Shibadu. But yet, he's still working for Ashwaju, kudos to him. But what I will advise is that if they can engage the student union more, they call them. Not everybody will want to come into Ashwaju campaign, but if they have 1 or 2, 3 of them, they have a town hall meeting with them, engage them.
But
they can come
real one,
real
one. I'm sure you will know that Ashwaju has a very robust relationship with the youths in tertiary institutions up and down the land. I'm sure you'll know that.
I know. I know that.
Exactly. Okay, but as you said, that needs to be concentrated upon. Dr. Felix, would you like to react in any way to what has been said?
Yes, I'm paying attention to all the comments as regarding the youth at the national level. And I can promise you, as soon as we end this live broadcast, we're going to make as much calls as possible. We do have a major event coming up in Abuja for the youth also.
Okay,
and
that's good to hear, because that's good to hear,
yes.
because that's along the lines of what Mr. George, our very first caller, was talking about. That, look, there are ways in which with the vibrancy of our youth can be seen, and you've just talked about that. I was speaking earlier about the women folk have organized something. Our youths are very, very, very capable. They're very vocal. They're very competent. They're up and doing and all of that. So people are saying that, well, the youth directorate, maybe you can come up with something. And as you are saying, you're going to be making some calls. They also are probably hearing us as we are speaking right now.
Yes, yes.
So we have, well, you were speaking about the existing situation. The federal government seems to be recalcitrant. It's going back to the Supreme Court to say that, by the way, Mr. Supreme Court, I'm not even sure that you had jurisdiction. So I don't know where that is going to end. I don't know how that is going to be argued. But the federal government, according to news reports, where people were heaving a sigh of relief, I have a few more days, whatever. Because, and as you know, Ashwaju has put out a notice there, people should please be on their best behavior. They should not be provoked. They should not do anything that can be misinterpreted and actions to be taken, because we're hearing about people advising people. There are people who have issues with this whole issue about somebody giving wrong advice. But it is what it is. That's what we're hearing. I suppose you also, would like to speak to the youth as well, that no matter the pressure, no matter the hardships, you probably want to see the youth, as far as your party is concerned, behaving in a particular way. What would be your word to the youth in these tough times where the youth can't drive their cars because of the petrol crunch, the youth can't access their money because of the currency crunch? What would you be saying to the youth at this time?
Yes, I want to speak to every youth out there that are listening. I know it's frustrating. You're not alone. For us too, it's very frustrating. I've been trying to send ordinary 70,000 naira to somebody. It's been taking me 3 days now. It's like I have to believe in miracle to be able to transfer money. So it's quite frustrating, but I want us to look beyond. Why now? Why are they doing this? We cannot have this election postponed. We cannot have destruction all over the place, riot. We are better than this as Nigerian youth. They cannot instigate us to go and start burning banks, burning the police station, destroying local businesses that are barely surviving. They are not our problem. Let's hold on. If we survive the COVID lockdown, I believe we can survive this. Let's bear it. This is exactly what they want to instigate. Now people will be getting angry. They'll be blaming the APC government. Let's hang in there. I believe after February 25th, all of this will be over. I want to believe that the Supreme Court will stand their ground and look at the pain and the suffering of the average Nigerian and not recount and change their decision.
Let me bring on Moses, who has called in from Benin. Good morning, Moses.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in, sir. Go right ahead, please.
What I want to say is, we thank God for Ashwaju. He can discover talent.
Can you help us a bit, Moses? Could you speak up? You're a bit low.
I say thank God for Ashwaju.
Okay.
He can discover talent. All the records are there since 1999. As a city cop, all the records are there since 1999. He discovered Fashola, he discovered Mbode, he discovers all. And thank God also he discovered Buhari. he said he makes Buhari the president.
Well.
And yes.
Well.
Yes, he said it. You can't. Yes.
No, I'm not. I don't think you can say that. Tinubu discovered Buhari. I mean, Buhari. But I understand the trend. I understand what you're saying.
He said he made him because he comes first time he failed. He comes second time he failed.
Yes. Okay.
And now he makes him. So he discovered them also. So if all their success, if all the successes of Ambode, Fashola, Sowolu is attributed to Tinubu, why are we disassociating the unsuccessful of Buhari? And APC, and I believe, Nicholas, I learned you are a pastor. You're supposed to be.
Yes.
You can't say this one is not your policy. Number one, Mr.
I beg your pardon. I'm so sorry. I want to apologize to you, Moses. Time doesn't allow us, but thank you for calling in. And we did get the point that you made, but we've run out of time. I wanted to give Dr. Nicholas Felix the last word on this. You said that, youths are still very, very much talking, and perhaps in the, shortly we should be able to see something, hear something from them. We know they are there, but then for them to show us the vibrancy in some sort of an event, for this particular exercise. We can depend on that as we go. Your final words.
At the national level, I know that's what people are expecting because a lot are going on at the local and state level. We hope that before the election, we're going to have one. One is already in progress. We're going to make the announcement by next week, and we'll be able to roll that out. And we're hoping that we'll be able to get Asiwaju, depending on the schedule. We'll let him know if he will be able to attend. If not, we know other people will be able to come. But this is going to be massive.
Okay.
And the youth out
if
there,
you organize it,
if
you guys organize it, I'm sorry for interjecting. If you guys organize it, I'll be very, very surprised if Asiwaju is not present because he's very, very close to the youth. I can just hear his voice now. Greatest of the greatest of the greatest of the greatest of the greatest youth. But I want
You need to have been in the youth event that we acted there, that Asiwaju was present. My God, I was so, that room was something else. You need to have been there.
Indeed.
It was
I can imagine.
It was very interesting. And the way he was even praying for the youth, that was very captivating to me as a pastor.
Yeah.
When I heard him, God will bless you, you will not. I mean, I love that, what he did as a father, coming to speak to the youth, and not just that, pray for them.
Indeed.
That was very, very good.
It's been lovely chatting with you, Dr. Nicholas Felix, businessman, philanthropist, Deputy National Youth Coordinator, APC Presidential Campaign Council. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, then. So that's our program today, then. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Polan.
Hukumar zaɓe mai zaman kanta ta ƙasa ce ta bullo da na'urar tantance masu kaɗa ƙuri'a mai suna IVED domin taimakawa hukumar wajen haɗa rijistar masu kaɗa ƙuri'a ta hanyar ci gaba da rijistar masu kaɗa ƙuri'a CVR. Hakanan na'urar na tabbatar da cewa an adana bayanan da aka tattara daga kowane ɗan ƙasa don yin hukunci a yayin da katin zaɓensa na dindindin ya ɓace ko kuma ya lalace. Ku tuna